Hello my friends, I'm El Director, this is El Director Vision, and today I have a tour of my desk, my home office, my editing suite, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to show you guys what is involved with all this today, or actually tonight, given that it's now 10 o'clock at night as I'm doing this. But anyway, the idea came to me initially, I'd say about 2 months ago. I actually shot kind of my own version of MTV Cribs, showing you guys my place in my house. And I never got around to finishing that. And then just recently, my buddy Nathyn Masters, check him out in the description below or click right over here, he did a tour of his desk. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool, because I mean, really, that's the most interesting part for a filmmaker like me. I'm more interested in the desk rather than the entire house. And so I commented on his video, I said, dude, you inspired me, I'm gonna do one too. And so he says, I'd love to see it. So Nathyn, this is for you and this is for anyone else that's curious about my editing setup. So let's go ahead and jump right in, shall we? I'm going to be doing a lot of the tour with the GoPro, just so I can take you guys up close and personal with everything. And this should be pretty cool. All right, well, one of the first things you may notice is my keyboard here. This is the M-Audio Oxygen 49. And the reason why I went with this keyboard as opposed to the M-Audio Key Studio 48, which is what I'd had before, is that this has got the faders on it. So I can actually go through and map this to Pro Tools, which is what I use for my sound mix, and I can go through and I've got faders for all the tracks, adjust things that I need to. I've got control knobs. And then aside from the keyboard, the other cool thing I really liked about it is that it's got finger drums up here, so you know, bum, 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 you know, pound stuff out and stuff. So that's really, really cool. As you may notice by looking at my screen, this is Avid Media Composer. This is what I use to edit. I'd spent 9 years actually with Sony Vegas before switching to Adobe Premiere because my work was getting more VFX heavy, and at the time I was using After Effects to do all my visual effects shots, so it made sense to go to Premiere because of the dynamic linking, and that worked out really well. However, I would say starting about a year ago, I kind of began to leave After Effects behind because it couldn't handle what I was wanting to do anymore. I was getting to composites that were sometimes 3 or 4 pre-comps deep, and it was just ridiculous. And I realized that nodes were the way to go. So at that point in time, I switched initially to Fusion by Blackmagic Design, and then switched over finally to Natron and Nuke, which is what I use now. And so when I did that, I realized, hey, I can find a new editing software. I don't have to stick with Premiere anymore. So I realized I make narrative films, and Avid Media Composer is the de facto standard when it comes to editing narrative films. So that's what I'm running here. This is Media Composer 8.5. So that's pretty cool. And one of the things I like, as you can see, is that I'm using a laptop. This is an Acer Aspire 5. And I use my secondary monitor as the main monitor, and I use my laptop monitor as the secondary monitor. So all my bins are over here on the laptop screen, and all my main edits are over here. And then if I want to go to a full screen mode as I'm editing, I can do that just by hitting a couple keystrokes, and as you can see, everything then updates on here instead of just on here. Keystrokes again, I'm back to my bins. So it works out really, really nice. The other thing, and the most important thing I want to show you guys, is this right here. This is the Contour Design Shuttle Pro version 2, and this is awesome. So if you look at my setup here, I keep my mouse on this side for my right hand, and then my left hand works the Shuttle Pro. And so I've got the jog wheel for scrubbing through stuff really quickly. I can go through frame by frame if I want, go backwards, forwards, shuffle back. I've got mark in, mark out, insert overwrites, cutting clips, saving, play pause, delete clips. So everything's at my fingertips, unless I need to hit control, which I sometimes need to do, in which case it's just boom right there with my thumb. And so by editing with the Shuttle Pro and the mouse, I can actually go without having to touch the keyboard hardly ever, and it works out really, really well. So like when I was in high school, we had one of these, and we had it over on the right-hand side. So you use the mouse or the Shuttle Pro, but you couldn't use both at the same time. And so when I made the switch to Avid is when I got the Shuttle Pro too, and then that's when I decided, you know, if I put that on my left hand, my mouse on the right hand, I won't even have to touch the keyboard, and it's just worked out really, really nice. I've got a stereo speaker setup, one there, one over there, and the 0.1 sub, which is down there. So I do have a sub coming in with my sound, so that's super awesome. Got the LaserJet printer, which I'm absolutely in love with. The thing prints super, super fast. hard drive dock, external hard drive, more hard drives as well that go into the dock. And then I've got my laptop external hard drive, which is what I'll carry with me when I take the laptop places for editing and things. So that's real important to have. With the laptop, speaking of, it's a Core i7, which is great, and it has a NVIDIA GeForce, I believe it's a 2 gig graphic card, which has been really great for video editing and filmmaking. And then this is a USB 3 port right here, so I have a USB 3 hub going into there where I feed my high-speed devices into that, including my Resolve dongle and some other things, as you can probably see. We've got the Blue Yeti mic, and that's what I do for all my voiceovers and tutorials. And then I keep pens and markers in here. I keep everything face down so it keeps the ink charged and they don't dry out as quickly. So that works out great. Now, usually when I'm editing, I don't actually have the keyboard up here. I put the keyboard up for show today. Usually, I would have the keyboard down here. And then I've got my notes, I've got scripts, whatever else I may have going on at the time. I keep all that on my desk here, or sometimes I keep it clean. And then I'm editing like this. And then when I get ready to do my music mix and I get ready to do some composing, that's when I hook up this device over here. This is just kind of a breakout box for my electric guitar. We also have a Blu-ray player. I keep inspirational reading, pistol, of course, and items that I need to review on my channel here very soon. So I've got some reviews coming up for that stuff. Down over here, got some important filmmaking books. What they don't teach you at film school, the DV Rebels Guide. This is a staple of any action filmmaker. If you're making films, and action films in particular, I highly recommend this if you're doing anything with VFX. When I made the switch to Avid and wanted to learn the workflow, we got Avid Uncut by Steve Holfish, Independent Filmmakers Law and Business Guide, and the Guerrilla Filmmakers Movie Blueprint. So these are kind of good books to keep around. And then, the guitar, like I was telling you guys, so I keep my guitar right here. This is a Fender Squier. It's their entry-level Strat. That plugs into the breakout box or the amp into the breakout box. And then that gets funneled right into my system so that when I'm doing a Pro Tools edit or session or composing in Mixcraft, depending what this situation is, everything's right at my fingertips, and it works out great. Another cool thing I got going on here is, as you can see, my laptop's got HDMI, which right now is feeding into this monitor, but I keep this other HDMI cable here, and that cable goes to this TV. And so I could, if I wanted to, watch movies from my laptop on the TV or use the TV as a second screen. Right now, I've just got the Bourne Ultimatum going on via my Blu-ray player. But it's nice to have that option and being able to switch back and forth as I need to. A few other little things here, of course, drink coaster. And of course, doing a survival show, I've got a coaster made out of, a very rustic looking log, so that's kind of cool. I've got a photo here from my first feature film, Wi-Fi router back there. I always keep a deck of cards on hand because I like to fidget sometimes, and sometimes as I'm trying to figure out and edit, it's nice to have that to be able to practice false cuts and false shuffles and all that good stuff. I've always got my phone nearby. This is the Samsung Galaxy S7. Love this phone. Best phone I've ever owned, actually, to be honest. So that's pretty sweet. And then this is another thing I really want to show you guys. This is one of my favorite sections up here. I keep all my documents and stuff. I call this my binder shelf. I've got a few little miscellaneous notes and things. Most of my notes go into the notebook over here. But then these are my manila folders. And I have one of these for every feature-length film that I'm working on. So I've got one for Derek because I am going to do a feature-length version of Derek. In fact, it was written as a feature-length film, so that's kind of nice. And then I also have the one here for Leap Revelation. And so for those of you guys who are curious how long I've been doing this, I've got my original treatment in here, and it's dated July 20th, 2010. So it's been 6 years in the making that I've had the story for Leap 3. And God willing, when we get the funding, we'll be able to shoot it. So I keep my binders or my folders up here, and it just helps me stay organized and keep things all together, especially in the early stages before I start writing scripts and stuff like that. A lot of it's handwritten notes, and so I keep all that in there. One of the things I'm pretty proud of is the fact that my workflow is always changing, and I'm trying to always find ways to make it more efficient in what works best for me. And so part of that then means I have my workflow notes. And this is a binder where, as I have questions with how to do something, whether it be to go from Avid to Pro Tools or Avid to Nuke. And you know, as I research how to do this kind of stuff, I print out the pages that I find online, and I store them all here in the binder so I can reference them whenever I need them. And that's helped me adapt to Avid very, very quickly, because it is quite a bit different than Premiere and Vegas. And so this has been just absolutely invaluable for me. And I plan on doing a workflow video as well at some point, showing you guys how my workflow is set up now and how things play together, because it's actually really cool. Other binders I have up here, I've got shooting script. So this is for Leap Revelation. This is the shooting script. As you can see, the script is complete. It's ready to go. Not only is the script complete, but I've got the entire film scheduled. So as soon as I've got the funds to shoot it, all I have to do is offset these. We start filming on a Sunday, and our last day of filming is a Thursday, or a Wednesday, excuse me. So all I have to do is just plug in the dates, and we're good to go. So the movie is scheduled. The other thing I have is my storyboards. I don't storyboard a whole lot, but when I do, it's nice to have them here ready to go. And I'm using the Panavision 240 templates for my storyboards, so that works out quite nice. And we'll give you guys a little close-up here of the opening sequence for Leap Revelation. So it starts off with a big explosion. Shane and Crystal come running out, and then they take off through the mountains through here. And that's all I'm going to show you guys right now. And then the other binder I have, I've got a lot of these binders, but it's good to stay organized. This is my heaviest and thickest binder. This one is production documents. And so in here, what you will find are breakdown sheets. And so I've got breakdowns for every single scene in the film, as you can see. I've got a whole bunch of them. And right now it's set up in shooting order. I keep another version of the schedule in here, same one that's on the back of the script binder. I have a days out of days, again, same kind of thing. A one-line schedule. This is really helpful to see what scenes we're shooting what days. I have the budget. As you can see, our total budget is almost $24,000, $2,000 of which has been raised right now. And I think I can cut a few other corners if I absolutely had to. So that is in here, and you can see I'm not even paying myself. But $12,000 goes to paying the cast, because it is extremely important, I feel, to pay for actors and pay them for their time. It allows you to get better actors, and so that's really the biggest holdup right now is paying for actors. So we got that in there, and then miscellaneous prop list and stuff like that as well. So this is my production documents, and on the film shoot, I will always have the production docs binder, my shooting script. And then I've also recently started carrying this with me as well. And this is just another way to stay organized, blank storyboards, miscellaneous release forms for extras and fun stuff like that. So wherever script pages I'm shooting for the day, sometimes I'll take this out with me on like commercial shoots and that sort of thing. And I do want to try to wrap this up here. So finishing off the desk tour, no desk would be complete without its toys. So we've got Arrow. I'm a huge fan of the Arrowverse, or the TV show Arrow, I should say. The original Mighty Morphin Megazord, some stuff from Jurassic World, a silver nugget that I actually found, so that's kind of cool. And then card readers, office supplies, keepers, bandana. I keep that here because it's important to me. And then the other thing that's kind of nice is I keep some photos here on the wall, inspirational photos and things. And then taking a cue from the Bourne films, behind this one, which was taken when I was traveling overseas in Lithuania, is actually where I keep my passport. So it keeps it hidden and out of the way, and I know exactly where it is. And then behind this other photo right here, hopefully you guys can see that one, is where I keep my birth certificate and car title. So I keep that stuff there out of the way, where nobody's gonna find it. Fortunately, you guys don't know where I live, so I'm okay with sharing that with you guys right now. So that is the tour of my desk. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Let me know if you've got questions in the comment section below. I'm El Director. This has been El Director Vision, and we'll see you next time.